Welcome to Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. I am your host, and a very cool question came into my awareness. Somebody asked me this actually, and it was a question about how do we know that the Bible and the source of the Bible was actually true, correct? You know, the question was basically the Bible was written 300 years after Jesus' death, or so the story goes, right? How do we know it's true or accurate, or how could we know that it wasn't written like 1,000 years later or something like that, right? Is this really the law? Many religions and gurus have used the Bible at their will and own liking and have manipulated millions of people. I'm not trying to be rude here, I'm just wondering from another perspective. It's a wonderful question, really is, right? Because it gets to the heart of how do you experience anything? Because the Bible and the words that are on them are nothing more than an experience, right? So, moving forward with that, let's say, for example, the Bible wasn't written anywhere near Jesus' time. That's all made up, right? For example, let's just say that, okay? And we can go from there. Let's say the Bible was written 100 years ago by a guy named Bob in his shed because he was bored. Doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? Because it doesn't change the words. If Bob or Jesus or whomever wrote the Bible, and for whatever reason people have picked it up and read it, it doesn't change the words, right? Because the words don't create anything, they're just words. If you're reading them out of ignorance, as in I am not, as in I am not yet, and you read those exact words, they're not going to do anything for you. If you read them as I am, if you read them as I am, if you read them as I am reality, I am source, I am God, then they are life-changing because you're allowing them to be part of the mechanism that moves you and experiencing the changing of your life. Right? So the accuracy of it, the accuracy of the words, the accuracy of the source now doesn't matter because it's only how you are experiencing the words that what matters. Think of like 10 different movies that you enjoy. You have no idea who the director is most of the time. You can't name all the actors, right? Don't know how it was made. Don't know the backstory. Nothing. Does it change your enjoyment of the movie? No, it doesn't. Because it doesn't matter. What matters is your state of being when you enjoyed it and how you enjoyed it and how you are enjoying it continuously, right? Sometimes it adds to the movie. Sometimes it adds to know more about Jesus. Right? That show, The Chosen, is quite lovely when it comes to that. You get to see the man side of the man, the loving side of the man. I don't know, I'm not entirely sure where they got all that from, but who cares? It's amazing. It's lovely. It's wonderful. Fits, right? Because that's the point. So it doesn't matter if Bob in his shed or Jesus in his barn or the acolytes on a mountainside wrote it. It only matters what you are experiencing as you say it, as yourself, right? So you can read any verse from any state, which is I am not and I am, basically those two states. Right? There's no real variation between them. I am not keeps you searching, trying to be something, trying to reach from somewhere or something or other. When you read I am, the text becomes a mirror showing you what you already are, and you are experiencing the reflection of what you are, because that's how you experience what you are, by experiencing the reflection of what you are. Take the verse, in my Father's house are many mansions. That's infinity describing itself. My Father's house, where he just dwells, which is normal to him, has many houses, has many mansions, which are basically houses that we can inhabit as a physical being experiencing, but as a metaphysical being, notably being the mansion itself, in an infinite number of ways, in an infinite number of times. And those experiences have no limit because a mansion is basically the most extravagant way that you can live, the most abundant way that you can live, right? That's what the verse is referring to if you read it that way, right? You get to pick where you live in imagination. So whether Jesus said it or Bob said it or whomever, it doesn't change how you experience it. This is why so many gurus and religions and things like that, they have this perception that they can manipulate people, which is part of the question, right? But that's not true. No one actually manipulates anyone. Those versions of them already existed in that way, following this person who was reading it in that way and explaining it in that way, and people were following him or her in that way, right? Everyone is choosing their experience consciously or unconsciously. It doesn't matter. Those are just variations of those people that followed a variation of that person who was reading the book in a variation of experiencing it. It just exists. That's all. It exists now, it exists then, it exists when, it exists forever. It means nothing. Not to you. And here's how you can see this a little clearer. You can't be manipulated into changing your screen unless you consciously choose to change it. No matter what screen you are being aware of. And this is the free will part, right? Imagine your screen, and this is what's happening when you see others. They may be their own screen. They may be experiencing their own screen. They may be experiencing their own screen in their own way. But they are doing so infinitely from every point. So look at your phone screen, look at your computer screen, look at your TV screen, wherever you're watching this. And imagine on your screen are other phones, other computers, other TVs. All of them have different things on their screen. Which one chooses what's on your screen? None of them. Even if they are their own free will, choosing what's on their screen, nothing changes your screen. Your screen is your awareness. And when you realize your awareness isn't referring to only your physical screen, the physical experience of your screen, also the imaginational state of your screen, which is more reality than the physical, because your imagination is actually true reality, because what you're calling forth in your imagination, you're calling forth as that. Whereas the 3D is more of a jumbled up effect of 3D, of reality. Imagination is pure, pristine, untouched by moths and robbers. I think that's the other verse. You see how verses add to I am. They don't explain what you are not. Right? They don't have this gap because you don't have the gap. You stop seeing a gap because you aren't the gap. Right? So whether it's Jesus that said something, or Bob that said something, or even Krishna in Hinduism that said something, it said the divine plays within me. If you're reading it or understanding it or feeling it from I am not, you're going to think that what they are saying is that they are God and everything exists within them and you need to be humble before them. That's not what they are saying. Because if you read it that way, that's what they're going to be saying to you. But if you read it as we are one, we are I am, and what they are saying is what I am. They are saying what they are because it's what I am as well. They are pointing to that, right? All true gurus will eventually say something along those lines, that we are one, right? That's the crux of all scripture in any case, right? We are one being, one light, one energy, one love, right? And if you see it that way, you'll realize what they are saying is something that you need to embody. If you choose to, you don't have to, right? So it doesn't matter if Jesus said it or didn't say it. It means nothing. So you can basically read anything from any state, which is basically I am, right? And I am is not limited to anything. There's another question, which was, okay, well, what about people who change their birth certificate that matches their age, or they feel 25 and the paper says 50, or people apparently jumping to different time periods and all this stuff. All of time is now. All variations of the paper exist, and it doesn't matter how you look or feel, it's what you say. So if you say you are feeling and being a 25-year-old and you're 50, that's going to be your current experience. Not everyone in your reality may say that you're 25 or not, but they don't matter. You matter. I'm not going to say you're going to live for another 75 years. I have the slightest idea. It's up to you and your experiencing of reality. Not to avoid aging. You're not trying to age backwards here, but we even have a story called Benjamin Button about that. Right? But you see how reality works. It's just endlessly being whatever it wants to be, regardless of what you think it can and can't be. It is it already. Regardless of what you think reality can be or can't be, it is it already. Otherwise, you couldn't even consider it not being it or being it, right? So whether a specific person is showing up, the document changes, the Bible verse landing in your life, or living in another century, the how is never your job, because the how is what you are here to do, right? It's like when you're watching a movie, when you're watching the action scenes and you're watching stunts and you're watching this and you're watching that, and you kind of wonder how, but your job isn't to know how, it's to experience it. You can go figure out how they did it because it's in the 3D world. The evidence of what was seen in the 3D is usually in the 3D, right? And you can backtrack and go have a look at to see how Source unfolded that to happen, that effect, right? But whatever's not in the 3D as of yet, there's not going to be evidence of it. Why would there be, right? And even if there is evidence of it, you wouldn't know it's evidence of it because you'd be judging what it is or what it isn't, right? Which is why I like to look at movie background stuff where you say, oh no, this didn't work and that didn't work, but then it ended up having to do this. It's Source unfolding perfectly. So it always comes down to you. It's never the book, it's never the specific person, it's never the date on a page, it's never the guru that says this or that, even me. It's your point of view. You are that screen, and no matter how many screens are on your screen, it's still your screen, right? When you shift who you are being, the entire scene changes. They have to, right? Because remember, no matter what anyone's... This was the screen example. Again, if you have your phone screen looking at someone on their phone, when you change what is on that screen, even if you're seeing the same person, they can't be looking at the same thing that's on the screen. They can't be the same identity. But it comes from you. But don't watch what they are watching. Don't watch what another person is watching. Watch what you are watching, right? So does it really matter if Jesus said this or that? No, not really, right? He has a cool sounding name, Jesus. What an amazing name, right? But it doesn't matter. Just like it doesn't matter if Neville Goddard said something or Abraham Hicks said something, because sooner or later the meaning comes from you. You realize this, no matter who said it, right? Yeah, sometimes we give a little bit more validity to what is said by the person, but when you remove the person having said it, knowing you're the source of the words itself coming into your life, then you realize that the words just mean whatever you want them to mean to you. So make them mean I am and see what they feel to you then. I am Otis Reese. Whoa, what happened there? See, we get a bit hiccupy sometimes. Anyway, I am your host Reese. This is Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. Much love, much light. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for subscribing, sharing, loving, commenting, etc., etc., etc. Much love to you all. Love and light, truly. Facebook group, people are joining every day. So fun. People are getting to understand more of reality creation and be more comfortable in asking these questions. I love it. TikTok page, people are also following all the time, looking for more ways to understand themselves. Love it. You can email me if you want to really get to if you want to get into nitty-gritty things and personal things that you don't want to share. Perfectly fine. Email is in the description box below. That being said, much love, much light, and I'll see you all in the next one.